Welcome to Unit 1, What is Political Theory and What Its Relevance? 1. What is theory? We humans are unique creatures. Yes, like other animals, we breathe, eat, and feel. But there's something more. We're concept-bearing beings. What does that mean? It means we don't just experience the world physically, we experience it thoughtfully. For example, think of a chair. Physically, it's just a piece of wood. But when we tell a child to sit on a chair, we're not just pointing to wood. We're pointing to its purpose, to sit, to read, to eat. And this idea is something that only we, as conceptual animals, can grasp. It's not just objects, though. Social roles, too, are embedded in our understanding. The student knows the teacher isn't just any person, but someone fulfilling a specific role. These roles and concepts are what allow society to function. Most of these concepts aren't taught in a formal setting. Instead, we learn by doing. From voting, to reading, to interacting with others, we often act without conscious thought. These understandings are deeply embedded in our everyday practices. Consider how a bus driver changes gears, or how you sit at a table and read. You're not constantly thinking about these actions, but they happen smoothly, almost unconsciously. But what makes humans truly unique is our ability to express these thoughtful experiences in different ways. We can draw a table, dance out a feeling, or capture a moment in a photograph. These expressions can be external, like drawings or performances, or internal, private reflections we keep in our minds. Now, sometimes our reflections are random, triggered by something unexpected, like a piece of chalk crumbling in our hands. Other times we dive deeper and engage in systematic reflection. This is where we analyze, study, and explore a concept fully. Whether it's a faulty box of chalk or a complex social issue, systematic reflection helps us dig deeper. And systematic reflection isn't limited to words. Think of art, music, or dance. These are all forms of thoughtful, systematic expression that don't rely on language. The Ajanta paintings or a beautiful musical performance. These are deep reflections on the world and the human experience. When it comes to language, systematic reflection takes many forms. Essays, dialogues, poetry, and even stories. They all reflect our world in different ways. And just like these, theory is another form of word-based reflection. It helps us understand the conceptual world we live in. But theory has its own unique features that set it apart from other forms of reflection. So the next time you reflect on the world around you, remember, whether in words, art, or thought, you are engaging in the unique human experience of being a concept-bearing animal. 2. The distinctiveness of theory. The first distinct feature of theory is something called conceptual sensitivity. Sounds fancy, right? But really, it means that theorists focus intensely on the meaning of concepts. They ask, what exactly do we mean by freedom, justice, or equality? Think of it like this. If someone says, we should all be free, a theorist's first question is, wait, what do you mean by free? Free from what? Physical chains, legal constraints, or even psychological barriers? It's about clarifying the exact meaning of words we often take for granted. Number 2, rational structure. Theories aren't just random thoughts. They need a logical foundation. Theorists build reasons for why they think the way they do, and then build more reasons on top of those. It's kind of like building a house of cards, but with ideas. For example, if someone says, everyone deserves education, they need to explain why. Maybe they say, because it leads to dignity. Then they have to explain why dignity is important. You see the chain reaction? The third feature of theory is its aspiration to truth and objectivity. Theorists aim to discover some kind of truth. But here's the catch. They know that their truths are often tied to specific times, places, and situations. It's not about finding an eternal truth like in a fantasy novel, but a human truth that works in the here and now. And the best part? The truth they find today might change tomorrow if new evidence comes in. Theory is constantly evolving. Next up is unearthing assumptions. This is one of the coolest parts of theory. It's like being a detective. Theorists dig beneath the surface of our everyday actions to find the hidden assumptions behind them. For example, when we walk into a classroom, we assume the teacher will show up, that the classroom will be there, and that other students will come too, but we don't think about it. Theorists take these hidden assumptions and say, let's bring them to light. Now on to number 5. Generality and abstraction. Theories aren't just about specific events or cases. They try to create frameworks that can apply to a variety of situations. For example, a theory of motion applies to planets and rolling stones alike. Similarly, a theory of nationalism shouldn't just explain Indian nationalism, but nationalism as a whole. Theories go beyond individual cases to look at the bigger picture. Finally, we have empirical engagement. That means theories must be grounded in the real world. Theorists can't just speculate. They need to connect their ideas to real data and experiences. Imagine a theory about freedom that doesn't consider real-world constraints like poverty or legal systems. It wouldn't make much sense, right? 3. Cosmologies and common sense. We're going to unravel something fascinating: how cosmologies and common sense work together, and more importantly, how they relate to theory. Let's break it down in a way that makes sense. First, let's talk about what I mean by embedded understandings. These are the things we know how to do but can't always explain. Imagine a chef who makes a perfect dish without ever needing to check a recipe. That's embedded understanding. It's practical knowledge that stays in the background, almost invisible to us. Now, common sense is a bit broader. It includes not only this embedded understanding, but also our reflections, stories, myths, and epics that we use to explain the world around us. Think of it as a web of beliefs that help us navigate life without needing a textbook to explain everything. So how do cosmologies fit into all of this? Cosmologies are reflections on the universe, blending physical, social, and spiritual ideas into a nearly systematic view of the world. These cosmologies often become a part of our common sense, guiding our beliefs and actions. Here's a big question. Can theories shape our common sense? The answer is yes, but there's a catch. Theories are more specialized. They require specific skills, but they're not just for the elite. Just like anyone can learn to play cricket, anyone can engage with theory if they have the interest and commitment. So, is theory only for an elite few? Not at all. Just because you admire a skilled player like Tendulkar doesn't mean you can't appreciate cricket, even if you don't play at his level. The same goes for philosophy and theory. There's a difference between having a philosophy and doing philosophy. All of us have a worldview, but not all of us spend time systematically analyzing and developing it. That's where the distinction between having and doing philosophy comes into play. And while theory may seem distant, it's closely related to our everyday lives. Philosophy reflects on the things we already do, explains them, and sometimes challenges us to think differently. So in conclusion, philosophy is both practical and aspirational. It helps us reflect on our lives, but also challenges us to grow and understand more deeply. It's not just up in the clouds, it's rooted in the real world. Theories must take into account the lived experiences of people to remain relevant and impactful. So to sum up, a theory is a systematic reflection that has 6 key features: conceptual sensitivity, a rational structure, an aspiration to truth, a detective-like search for assumptions, generality, and a connection to the real world. And that's what makes theory so distinct. It's not just random ideas thrown together. It's a well-organized system of thought designed to explain and question our world. So next time you hear someone mention theory, you'll know it's so much more than just speculation. 4. What is political? Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving deep into the question, what is political? From ancient Greece to modern times, the meaning of political has changed significantly. Let's break it down. In classical Greece, political comes from the word polis, which means city or community. To be political was to participate in the community by making decisions about the good life. And here's the key part. These decisions were made through words and persuasion, not by force. But here's the catch. Not everyone got to participate in these decisions. Women, slaves, and foreigners were excluded from the process. So while politics was about the good of the community, it wasn't inclusive of everyone. Fast forward to modern times, and the meaning of political power changed. It became less about collective decision-making and more about power over others, power to exclude, control, and dominate. The study of politics became an analysis of these systems of exclusion. Another big change with modernity was the rise of the state. Political science shifted its focus to state institutions, like the government, judiciary, and military. This is where the line between political and social became clearer, with politics being all about the state. So, what does political mean today? It has at least 5 different meanings. It can refer to A. The collective power of a community to decide about its good life. B. The power of some to control others for their own interests. C. The use of state power for the good of the community. D. The use of state power to dominate others. And E. Universal values for all humanity or all living species. These meanings often coexist. On one hand, we have the normative idea of what should be, the collective good for everyone. On the other hand, we have the empirical reality, where power is often used to exclude and control others. It's a tension we still see today. Political theory tries to understand both sides, the realities of power and exclusion, and the ethical ideals of what could be. It's about studying how power works in the state and society, while also reflecting on universal values. So to sum it up, political is a broad term. It's about power, community, ethics, and decision-making, both on a local and global scale. Political theory asks the big questions. How should we live together? Who makes decisions? And how can we create a better world for everyone? Thank you for watching the video till the end. I would like to request you to kindly subscribe my YouTube channel and share this video to your friends now. More videos are coming soon.